Tier 3 day here today at DCA, and I am looking to see a busy park. Will the crowd show up? There's 8 people in that queue right now. I don't know. Join us as we take a complete tour around the park, every land and every attraction, where I'll be looking to see where the new action is going to be in 2025 and on the hunt for redemption and some good festival food. This is our State of DCA report. This is FreshBaked. And I tell you what, the vibe here at DCA this morning is amazing. I was just shooting that B-roll for the opener, and that filled me up, man. I'm feeling good. I'm ready. I'm ready for this State of DCA report. I'm ready to find out what's happening here today at California Adventure. I'm ready to see that Red Car Trolley coming up right now. There we go. And I'm ready to start a vibe check down Buena Vista Street. And we are here, yes, on a Monday morning. It's about 10:03 in the morning as we make our way down Buena Vista Street. It's about 63 degrees. High today in the low 70s. It's going to be just about perfect conditions to shoot a report, if I don't mind saying. It's going to be a beautiful day today. Hi, good morning. There's many, they don't, that's not a holiday outfit, is it? It looks like, yeah, they're getting ready. They're doing the candy canes this morning here at DCA. It's a candy cane morning. I stopped doing those because I never actually ate them. I would get them and then they would just stay in a box. Like, why am I doing this? You'll notice that the park does feel a little bit lighter than we usually see when we start these shows because we are starting an hour early. Typically, you'll find me do these reports or try to do these in the afternoon. I'll start at 11 or noon or something like that, just because I want to find the park in sort of a peak condition, max crowds, if you will. But I realize that that means that I see the park almost in the same state every single week, be that Disneyland or DCA. So I thought I'd start an hour early just to get a different vibe, feel that kind of morning vibe and see how that relates to queues, etc., and the energy in the crowd. And I gotta say, man, this has just been about the most wonderful first half an hour I've spent at DCA in quite a while. It's kind of, the crowds are light right now. The music is great. I saw some Five and Dime. I've said hi to maybe a dozen fans of the show already. It's been pretty magnificent morning already. There is the Red Car Trolley. Man, it's not going to be long. This thing is going to be offline, I think. Didn't they say January? Isn't that what they were saying? I can't remember now if it was January that they're taking the Red Car Trolley offline. Probably forever. We did a whole video on that, about the future of the Red Car Trolley and what we should expect. And none of it is very good, if you don't mind my saying. But the good news is that the result of losing the Red Car Trolley is that all of this will become something else as well. Something hopefully wonderful. It's a low bar. It's a low bar that DCA set, or that Hollywood Boulevard and the Backlot set. So just about anything will be an upgrade. But the expectation is, yeah, some new land is coming here in the next 10 years or so. And that means losing the Red Car Trolley in the process. Look at that. We did a whole Festival of Holidays video, but there's more food. Oh, that's not holiday food though. That's the Wayfinder dog. My God, that's a $16 hot dog, you guys. Yeah, I think it's going to be our goal today is to find something good to eat and share it with you guys. Our mission, our quest, if you will, is to redeem our experience from Festival of Holidays, which was mostly negative. I would say maybe 20% positive and 80% negative. So maybe a little, maybe 30, 40, I don't know. But I'm going to find us something good to eat. We're going to keep our eyes open and look for something good to eat. Although we're here a little early for lunch, so we might have to make our way back here if we're going to try that Wayfinder dog. I know there's got to be something back there at the food truck also. which does in fact take us to the Hollywood Backlot. So we'll begin our recon session here. I will note that today is a tier 3 day, which is on the lower end of the spectrum. It's like $160, I believe, for a ticket today. Tier 3, it's code blue. It's a blue day. So the expectation, according to our theory, is that we should have a pretty busy day today. Will that materialize? I'm not sure. The theory hasn't been working out in my favor recently. The last few trips have been sort of opposite of what I would expect. So we'll see. Like last Friday, I was here last Friday to do construction, and it was a tier 6. Max day 206 for the ticket, and it was dang busy. It was dang busy. So I don't, we'll see. I mean, it should be busy. It should be. It should. But we're too early for that. It's too early for big crowds. So I'm not expecting to find much here at Monsters Inc. And yeah, so far that's correct. 25-minute posted wait time for Monsters Inc., which is definitely lighter than we normally see when we come through here. Although I am concerned about what's happening around this corner. There's nobody in Lightning Lane. That's good, but that's the back of the queue. I'm gonna have to wait in this queue a little bit if I want to see what's going on back there. Well, we are moving a little bit, but they're using all of this. Okay, so good feeling's gone. It looks like we're going all the way back. There you go. They just said it. It was posted at 25 out there. She's already said, nah, it's not 25. I was going to say this is not 25. This is 35 or 40 at least, and we've all the way out here to the back, and the guests are still coming in. They've come in behind me. The only thing that these guests have going for them is the fact that there's very little Lightning Lane happening right now, which makes sense because I'm not expecting to see a lot of people cashing in a Lightning Lane for Monsters Inc. at 10:15 in the morning. So that's our first miss of the day. It was posted at 25, more like 45, and they've actually already updated the board to reflect that. But it's also kind of interesting that here we are, just a few minutes into the morning, and things are actually picking up already. It doesn't feel like a lot. It's not a dense crowd in here right now. It's not dense at all. Matter of fact, it feels really, really super chill and casual. The energy is low. Not necessarily like they're bummed, but it's quiet. It was really, I was enjoying that first trip around Buena Vista Street and Carthay Circle, but the wait times are not reflecting that chill attitude so far. Well, wait time, we've seen one. Let's go to Avengers Campus. Second thought, before we get into Avengers Campus, I just talked about how there's a future for the Hollywood Backlot and Hollywood Boulevard here that does not include 1920s Hollywood, that is some other themed land. I'm asking you, put a comment. Oh, hi, there's a red car just coming right up my 6. What do you guys think they're gonna put here? What's the future? I know the rumors are Avatar, and there's the possibility Monsters, right? I mean, Monsters was once the big rumor that was going to happen here, a whole Monstropolis land, which they are now definitely doing in Walt Disney World at Hollywood Studios. And it is, normal for Disney to repeat things, to duplicate lands or duplicate attractions. Is this the future home of Monstropolis? I would be 100% on board with that. That would be a huge win for DCA, getting a Monstropolis here, a huge win in my opinion. But here's another question, and maybe this is something that we can take into the rest of the park as we make our way through. Moana is the #1 streaming movie, I think, anywhere. I think it's the most streamed movie. I feel like it is the original. And they just put out Moana 2. It's in theaters now. Box office records. Set the single biggest Thanksgiving weekend opening ever. Moana 2 is a hit. when is it time to get Moana into the parks? More Moana? And if so, where? Because I don't think they can put it in Disneyland. I don't think so. I don't think they can. You can't do anything in Disneyland, basically. Disneyland is just, it's a lost cause for expansion, in my opinion. All they can do is, they can't do anything with the land itself for reasons I won't get into. But DCA, you could do stuff here in DCA, but where? Or is that maybe Disneyland Forward? What if they put Moana at Disneyland Forward? Keep that in mind. Put a pin in that. And one more stop before we head into Avengers Campus. I mentioned the food truck here, Studio Catering Truck. I think we may have found our next stop. This is Festival Holidays, the Korean fried chicken sliders. That looks amazing. I really want to get into that. I really want to try some Korean fried chicken sliders. But they also have, this is not advertised out there, but they have a boat snacks burrito, another Moana 2 themed choice. Kahlua style pork with spiced ham, spam, egg fried rice, spicy cabbage slaw, and charred pineapple. Served with mac salad. Too early though, but remind me, you guys, remind me to come back here because I think we're probably by the time it's lunch, let's see, it is 10:20 now. God, we only been at this for 20 minutes. By the time it's time for lunch, we're gonna be at least at Cars Land, I think. Now, let's go check out Avengers Campus, where if I have my bearings correct, it is 10:33 in the morning, which means Deadpool should be here.
Objects below. Well, this is very dense for a children's book. I'm just gonna skip ahead a couple pages. Then what to their wandering eye should appear but a shiny red sleigh and one pointy reindeer. There was a fast-talking driver, all red, black, and cool. They knew in a moment it must be Santa Pool. Oh, thank you. That's the character that I'm playing. Yeah, but just to keep some narrative continuity, I'm gonna keep speaking in the third person, if that's all right with you. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. He had a jolly red suit and a little round belly that he liked to call his juggergut.
I sure do hope that they find more room in the schedule and more budget for story time with Deadpool here at DC. I know he's not for everybody, but not everything has to be for everybody, right? I know a lot of adults who don't really care for Dark Rides in Fantasyland, or don't really care for the Disneyland Railroad, or you name it. So there's got to be something for everybody here, right? And this is the place to do it, if you ask me, Avengers Campus. Mission Breakout is next, and that chill sort of vibe that we've been experiencing so far is still in effect here. I see a posted wait time of 45 minutes, which is nominal for Mission Breakout, even at 10:36 in the morning. Lightest crowd back here in the back of the queue, while they are filling most of it. Gosh, this is unexpected, you guys. Unexpected to seeing. I would have, well, I don't know. It is Mission Breakout. But this is very similar to the queue that we saw 2 weeks ago at, an hour and a half later. They're using just about all of it except for this last row, but very soon, if people start showing up for Lightning Lane to continue, very soon they will be out here. There goes Bravo. I think it was Bravo that was non-functional 2 weeks ago. We're at 1:45 and I still have only seen Bravo. That can't be good. There goes Charlie. That leaves only Alpha. If Bravo opens before Alpha, then we're down a lift. And there goes Bravo. Not a good look. So that was a 3-minute cycle. We were sitting there for 3 minutes. That's how long it takes, by the way, to find out if they're running all. Saw 2 Bravos, 1 Charlie, 0 Alphas. So it looks like they are short a lift. I would assume that to be the case at least, which would explain why we're seeing what I thought was maybe a slightly shorter, or longer, I should say, longer queue than I was expecting at 10:40 in the morning. There's Black Panther. Hey, look, a walk-around character. I haven't been seeing a lot of those lately here at Avengers Campus. Well, he's got a lot of swagger, this one. Pretty decent lineup here for Iron Man, and it looks to be still open. They haven't closed it off, but that's pretty good. I'm not expecting, we're gonna go check on Pim Test Kitchen next. I'm not expecting to see a big crowd there because, again, we are off the normal. It's 10:43, which means that it's still breakfast, I think. Are they doing both? But this is not exactly a peak time to be ordering food here at Disneyland. Okay, that's actually a pretty good crowd. You know what it is? They've all heard about how bad Festival of Holidays is. they're choosing another option today. I make that joke, of course, because 2 weeks ago I was surprised at how empty this place was, given it was high noon, and there was nobody in here, and everybody was saying, well, that's because they're out at the kiosk, the Festival of Holiday kiosk, eating Christmas food. So I guess that doesn't apply today. Maybe they have found out. Let's cross the path. Go see if anybody's buying any merch. And then I'm going to get into a little commentary. Stay tuned. Hang in there, because I'm going to get into a commentary about the future of Avengers Campus. As for merch today, practically nobody in here right now. But again, this is not a strike. I don't imagine people do a lot of shopping first when they get to Disneyland, right? Unless you're local. But this is a very loud crowd in here. Easy to get through here. That took only a few seconds. We'll just keep this momentum going, actually. Let's go head over to Webslingers, where when I was here earlier, I saw a posted wait time of 30 minutes. That was maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago. Still posted 30. Very manageable. This is a welcome, come to Webslingers sign. Even at 10:45, this is a light crowd, in my opinion. So the back of the queue is right here. They're not using any of this, obviously. And I'm seeing very little movement. They might be using just a portion of the bullpen back there behind the blue wall. I'm seeing movement here, but nothing over there. So they haven't fully extended. I mean, yeah, 30 minutes, you guys. 30 minutes. Well, I stand corrected in terms of the movement on the blue walls back there. I never noticed this before, but I got into the queue and I waited there for a little bit. By the way, it grew around me while I was in there, but there's no queue there on that side. That's why I didn't see any movement. All the movement's back there on that side. The whole queue is behind that part of the wall, and it is full, completely full. Back there, that section is. I've actually been standing here in this queue now for about 4 or 5 minutes, just watching things, and it's starting to fill up a little bit. Let me just check the app real quick to see if it's still out there at 30 minutes, because I mean that's a reason to come to 30 minutes. It's still posted. That's a reason to get in this queue. This day is going to be a busy day, and if you're here right now, this is your opportunity to get in, I think. And it's still, even with the full bullpen back there, I think you can still probably call this 30. Maybe not. You know what? I don't think so. It's a toss-up. I'd have to sit here and watch to be sure, but it's about a toss-up right now. Now, regarding my earlier tease, talking about the future of Avengers Campus and Marvel as a franchise, Marvel as a viable entity to build a land around. There has been, I've heard some commentary, people are kind of like not excited about the new e-ticket, which is that's what's happening in 2025 basically. That's the only action, the real action that we're going to be getting is the Avengers e-ticket here. Just behind the Quinjet there and those walls. Hi guys, good morning. That is where they're going to be building the Avengers e-ticket. It's a screen-based, similar type situation, if I understand correctly. I think, I'm not sure. Whether or not, you know, that's neither here nor there, but that is where they're building the new e-ticket. And it is the only thing happening on the schedule for 25 that I'm aware of. Look, Avengers Campus is still light years ahead of what we had here before, Bugs Land. This is still a premium land, in my opinion, and it's going to continue to be, especially with the addition of 2. Not just the e-ticket, but they're building another one right next door in the same plot. They're building 2 attractions back there. Avengers and Marvel is still a incredibly viable property. People are still, just because the movies, you know, they think because the movies aren't doing as well as they used to, that means nobody cares about Marvel anymore. But I beg to differ. The whole library of Disney is filled with, you know, vintage, nostalgic movies that people, you know, we still feel a certain kind of way about Snow White. And if you try to outthink demand, if you try to outthink that thing and think it has to be something modern, something contemporary, and you have to keep keeping up, you're going to lose. That's a race you can't win, because you have to keep redeveloping these attractions. You just have to have faith, and you just have to have faith that the thing you're building is going to endure for decades, for 100 years, you know, like 50 years. It doesn't have to be only the brand new stuff that you base an attraction on. I feel like that kind of thinking is short-sighted, short-term, and also does not consider the long-term viability of most of Disney's catalog of properties, of intellectual properties. Marvel's gonna be just fine, you guys. People, you know, I still watch Iron Man. It's not like if Iron Man comes on, I'm watching it. I still watch all that stuff. I still watch Star Wars. You know, so go ahead, Disney, build all the lands and all the attractions you want based on Marvel and Star Wars, in my opinion. Just saying, I ain't never walked up to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and said, you know what, I'm not gonna ride this today. I don't care about Mr. Toad's anymore because he's no longer culturally relevant. And you know what, with that, it's 11 a.m. That's early enough for some Korean, hi, how's it going? For some Korean fried chicken sliders, right? Oh, look at that, it's already drawing a crowd. We're just getting started. It's already drawing a crowd. People are ready for some boat snacks, burritos, and chicken sliders, as am I. And there they are, the Korean fried chicken sliders topped with gochujang sauce, kimchi coleslaw, and pickled onions served on sweet Hawaiian bread. Apologies if I got any of those words mispronounced. This, by the way, is a very healthy serving. For festival holidays, that's pretty good. Getting 2 sliders, and they're very hearty. Look at, I mean, that's a big cut of chicken right there. It's the kiosks that rob you on the portion size, and they charge you $9. Although these were 15, so I guess I don't know if it's a bargain or not. Let's find out how they taste. Wow. Redemption indeed. Although I got mostly just the chicken. Oh, that is hot. There's some fire there. My goodness. But that is delicious. Incredible even. Let's try another one. We get a little bit of coleslaw. Got to get that on that bite. Everything is good, but the chicken is prepared wonderfully. I mean, it's average tasting as far as the actual chicken goes. Excuse me. But the way it's prepared, you know, the crispiness of it and the sauce, it's incredible. Redeemed, festival. Redeemed. So glad I made that choice to stop and get lunch at the studio catering truck. Excellent decision. Look at this. Look at that cube we just saw there. To meet Spider-Man. That's pretty good. What a fun time, man. Kids love Spider-Man. They love him so much. And when they get to meet him, because that feels like the real thing. I have encountered Spider-Man on a number of occasions. Just, hi, how are you? I'm doing great, thank you. I've encountered him just, you know, randomly in the street, and it's one of those few characters where I really feel like I've met I've met the real thing. Look what we found out here in the break corridor. I wonder if they're enjoying the festival food. But we will not be participating in that at the moment. We're heading for Cars Land next at 11:33 in the morning. We should be seeing a little bit of an uptick in crowds now. Guests should be here. This is prime time for a Monday. If you're coming out on Monday, you're generally getting here earlier rather than later. Vader's Junkyard Jamboree posted at 15 minutes. And my goodness, that's a good sized group there, you guys. Wow, that might be the longest queue I've seen at Mater's in 6 months. We were here 2 weeks ago. We tried to see if we could guess how long or how many guests could fit in each rotation. And I think I cut it off right about here. That's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 rotations. I mean, if that's correct, it's nowhere close to 15 minutes. It'd be incredible news because never does Mater's, hi guys, never does Mater's reach anything like 15, beyond 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25, that kind of thing. But if I'm looking at this crowd correctly, that could actually be a 30-minute queue. If I'm measuring the number of rotations in that queue, that could be a 30-minute queue. So that's at least our second miss of the day. I'm not sure how to qualify. Webslingers was a toss-up. Mission Breakout is difficult to assess, especially considering we're down a gantry, down a lift. But that's a definite miss there for Mater's, and our other one was Monsters. So it's busier in the queues than it is according to Disney. I'll say that. Just gonna take a quick tour around these here cozy cones. Wow, churros is popping. It's starting to happen. Ice cream cones. Queso has a few. Nobody at Concoctions.
No, it came out of your pocket.
That's where you get the chimichanga. And nobody basically at Popcone. And it is 11:38. Ka-chow. 11:38, and I want to go check in on Flo's V8 Cafe to see if we are finding any more guests in here than we did 2 weeks ago, where again I think there was like 3 or 4 guests in the queue when we got there, which shocked me incredibly. I see some guests. Looks like they haven't really filled in the switchbacks yet. Come on. There we go. Yeah, it's just a straight line, but that's considerably more than we saw also. So the festival holidays not in effect today, if that is in fact what it was. And while we observe nobody here picking up any food, let's keep this party going over to Luigis Casa della Tires. Prego. Where things are starting to pick up for sure. That's a posted 30-minute wait time. And oh my gosh, I don't even have to oh my goodness. It has been a long time since I've gotten into a Luigis queue this full. But the only thing is that while it doesn't look like they're using the office. The office does not look, they're making a left turn. You know what, can I see from around the corner? If they're in that office back there on the other side of the glass there, the brick setup there, that's the office. If they're not using any of that, or they're using that, absolutely positively it's a no-go. As for this one, I would call that 30 minutes. Which brings us to Radiator Springs Racers, and this is one of the key attractions. One of the reasons why I wanted to get here an hour early today, because we're always here at the same time, and I'm always saying, don't get here at 1 o'clock, don't get here at 2 o'clock. That's like the worst time to get here. But how is it now? How is it at, what is it? 11:45, right? It's posted 65, but there's nobody out. You know what? Let's just find our way in here. What does a standby queue look like at 11:45 a.m.? I do not have very many reps for this attraction at this time of day. But this is a go right now, man. This is an absolute go right now. Yeah, okay, here's the back. That's not bad at all, you guys, especially considering watching those Lightning Lane guests right there. They're just gonna slide in. There's 4 or 5 people in Lightning Lane queue, and this is a go. It's not a walk-on, okay? It's not a 20-minute queue, but it's better than 65. That's a win for you, as long as Lightning Lane stays like it is, which I expect it will be. 11:51 as we arrive at San Fransokyo. Such a different vibe an hour earlier, man. I mean, it is lunchtime, plenty of people trying to eat, but it's certainly not nearly as busy. And you know what? Let's talk about that for a second as we first do a drive-by with Baymax. La 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 la. You know, I've been one of the ongoing stories for months now, and something that we had, mentioned at the outset of the show, and something I'm always aware of, is that price versus crowds comparison. As I mentioned, it's tier 3. It's the lower end, $160 for the ticket. This is probably the cheapest ticket you're going to get at Disneyland through the holidays. I don't think there's any days, well, I'd have to look at that again, but it's certainly one of the lowest, and there's not a lot of them. Last week was $206 wall to wall all week, and then I think it was finally on Sunday where they hit $190. Hey guys. But I have to say, I was expecting to find a little bit of a bigger crowd here today. Even though, like I said, we started at noon, 11 or 10. Even adjusting for that, I still don't feel like it's here. It's not here. I mean, we still got a couple hours left in the day, I think, for the people to start showing up. But it's, noon is high time. Noon is peak. There should definitely be people in the park at noon. It's no longer morning. Just looking at San Fransokyo right now, there are tables everywhere. There. Saw a couple right here. All inside there. There's 4 tables right there. You don't even have to try hard. I had lunch here 2 weeks ago, and I looked all over, and I finally found one way back in the corner back there. I didn't have to wait. I didn't have to, hover or anything like that. There's one. I didn't have to hover. There's another one right there in the middle. But I did have to go all the way to the back corner, next to the bridge, to find a place to sit. Hi guys. This is positively nice, easy peasy. Which brings us to the San Fransokyo Bridge, my favorite.
That's my cousin.
It's actually a little light. That's light right there. Got an idea. Let's go look at the tip board, see if that agrees with my current assessment right now. But before we even get started, it's been real quiet on the other side of that lagoon right there, other side of the bay. I think Incredicoaster's closed. I haven't heard a single screamer. Nobody's screaming anywhere. It's actually kind of disconcerting. Let's get started. Okay, Golden Zephyr, 5 minutes. Goofy's Sky School is closed, and I can confirm with my eyeballs. I was walking down here to get ready for this, and I saw them evacuating guests off the attraction. So that is happening right now. Goofy's Sky School is closed, but as I turn around, I can see they are testing vehicles again, so it's probably going to be up in a minute. Let's hope the same is true for Incredicoaster. I was hoping to do a little deep analysis on Incredicoaster today, but so far that's not looking good. Grizzly River Run is 5 minutes. It's not even that cold. It's nice out. Guardians at 40. Yeah, there it is. Incredicoaster is closed. Guardians also has a return time of 6 hours. My gosh. Emotional Whirlwind, walk on. Jesse's, walk on. Jumpin' Jellyfish, walk on. Little Mermaid, walk on. Although it says 15. Oh, but Little Mermaid is just popping lately. Luigis is at 20. Mater's 10, so I guess they cleared that queue. It is just not happening, you guys. It is not busy. Mickey's Bill Art Magic. Oh, that's not a queue. Okay, Monsters Inc. is at 35. That's actually pretty good for this time of day for Monsters Inc. You know, we would normally have been there by this time and would have found a 45-minute queue easily. Okay, Pixar Pal Around is 20 minutes. Looks really quiet over there too. Radiator Springs is just 45 minutes. We saw 65. Did I call it? Did I call it? You guys, you can start watching this show and take notes. Because when I say it's a go, it's a go. They're at 45 minutes now. Redwood Creek, oh, it's just a thing. Slowly Sipping Swings, walk on. Soarin, 30 minutes. 30 minutes for Soarin at noon. Return time of almost now. You guys, the return time is just 25 minutes. Toy Story is 45 minutes. The return time of a little over 3 hours. And Webslingers still hanging in there at 35 minutes. It did not bump, so that's a pretty accurate posting there. Incredible. It is just not happening. I mean, I'm starting to get a little concerned. And I say that with hesitation. I say that I hedge when I say things like that because, you know, I'll do this, I'll say this, and then people will say, oh my God, we were at the park the other day and it was jam-packed. It was bonkers. But I think that part of that is, now that I'm recalling some of the comments that I've heard about how busy things are, were being reserved for Disneyland and not DCA. I think DCA gets a larger percentage of the Halloween crowd, or they pick up, you know, they steal some of that capacity from Disneyland during Halloween. But I think during Christmas, people tend to favor Disneyland. They want to feel that Disneyland magic. And so they're choosing Disneyland more, I think. This is just, you know, armchair thinking here, but I mean, it makes sense. However, I have to say, man, the Christmas vibe here is still very strong. They have a lot of good stuff to see here. You've got the Toy Drummers, you've got the Encanto show, you've got the Coco thing with Miguel it's Miguel. Out there, the Mariachi Alegria. That's a good show. And you've got the music, the Christmas music here, the Festival of Holidays is happening. There's a reason to be here. I mean, I'm feeling very, very festive at DCA today. You know, yeah, the Five and Dime out there at Car thing, they play some wonderful Christmas music. It's great. But you could just feel the lack of energy coming out of here. Although a lot of that has to do, I think, with the credit coaster. That does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to with creating the energy, all the screaming that happens at the loop and on the drops and all that. Not a lot coming out of the fun wheel though either. Just very quiet and reserved today. Which is curious because there was a moment there when I thought, okay, things are kind of kicking into gear. You know, I thought that, you know, after that little morning lull, not a single person in the adorable snow. Not one guest. Am I overthinking this? There's an abandoned credit coaster vehicle. Oh look, they're doing a little filming, it looks like. Hey, all right. I don't know what that's for. Looks like they want to be going. They've got cast on set. They're ready to go, but the vehicles aren't. Huh. Wow. Wow. Is this coming through? I don't know if this is coming through or not. It's got to be Incredicoaster that's creating this lull in energy right now. But normally when I look down this way, I see a lot more density. tripping. It's interesting too because normally when an attraction like Incredicoaster goes down, there's, that's 500-600 people, right? That you got to displace. You got to put those guests somewhere else. The guests that would be in that queue are somewhere else. Most logically, human nature is whatever the nearest attraction is. That would be Toy Story, but even Toy Story still was repping just a 45-minute wait. That should be, Toy Story should be busier than usual, not less busy than usual.
Make some noise! Time to play along with all the toys! You know your life will never be mundane.
We're still showing 45 minutes. I mean, that's a healthy queue out here. That is healthy. I'm gonna say it's maybe 15 to 20 inside. That's at least 10 out here. And then another 7 or 8 to get to the vehicle. So we'll call that 38 minutes probably. That's my guess, 38. Lightning Lane, there's nobody in Lightning Lane. That's all, oh no, that is, wait, is that Lightning Lane? Oh, it is Lightning Lane. That's a little bit. They're moving right through. You know what? We're gonna do this. I'm gonna call 38 minutes. Let's see how accurate that is. Okay, here we go. We're getting in this queue at 12:19. Now I'm nervous. I was hoping for 10 minutes out here before we enter the interior queue. It has been 7 so far. Just those 2 guests in Lightning Lane as we approach the threshold here. So 7 minutes outside total. Now I'm expecting 15 to 20 in here. So we're getting into this queue at 12:26. So hoping to be out of here optimistically at 12:41. 2 minutes to make that first switchback. So we're on a lightning pace right now. By the way, I would say that if we come in at something like 25-30 minutes, I'm going to consider that a fail also. Because that means I misestimated the actual chunks of time in there. It's not just a question of whether or not it's less than the 45, but how accurate is my time estimate. See if I can't peek out there to see the Lightning Lane. It looks like there are some maybe 8 or 10 guests out there. Onto our third switchback. That one's a little bit slower. We're at roughly 6 minutes now so far in this interior. So that was a little. That's about twice. That was about a 4 minute switchback. I'm insane. I'm sorry. One thing I can't say is that we're well ahead of my 20-minute estimate still. I figured we got in here at 7 minutes, so we were trying to get out here at 12:41. You can see the clock there says 12:33. If we spend, yeah, we're going to be out here by about 12:38. To recap, what I was estimating in my 38-minute estimate was 20 or 10 on the outside, 20 in here, and then 8 after the mix point to the vehicle. That was 38. Right now we're at 15. We've been in the queue for 15 minutes so far. It was 7 outside, giving us maybe 8 so far in here. Will not exceed 10 probably. So we're well under that. Even on the low end, I thought 15 minutes at least. Look at that, they've done so well. They cleared all that queue out there. I just won. And we are at the mix point at 18:08. 18:08. Still just a smattering of Lightning Lane. At this point, it's not even going to be 8 minutes. That's probably overestimated. Now I'm thinking it's more like 5 minutes to get to our vehicle from here. I see that they cleared that entire queue out there. So that's the lack of Lightning Lane that's happening right now. There's no Lightning Lane guests in here, so they're able to push a whole bunch of standby. They cleared 10 minutes, 7 minutes worth of queue out there while we've been in it. They've cleared it.
How many here?
1.
5.
Thank you.
How many here? Nick, wait right here for me.
Amazing. 24 minutes. way ahead of my estimate. I consider that a loss, a fail on my end anyway. But what happened? What's the reason? Well, the first time that I measured, or the last time I should say, where I based that 15-20 minute estimate on was obviously a busier day. Thank you. Obviously a busier day. That's what happens when there is no lightning lane. So that 8-minute trip that we just took through, that 8-minute trip is the bottom of the scale. It's the bottom of the range. The top of the range is more like 15 or 20 minutes. And it's time for me to play Midway Mania. Let's go.
Here's the name of it, Joseph's my name. The animals. If you want to shoot farther, aim higher. Keep that box out of the head now. Nice, it's good. Yeah.
Let the string go back in after you pull. Watch for pterodactyls. Great control. Extension one.
Ah, darn it.
I am not your mother. Break up the plate. Watch for the flying plate. Toss your rings.
My least favorite. I really don't like this level.
Time is running out.
I can't do it. I'm cramping up. I'm cramping. Well, I have no idea how I'm doing relative to my usual score. I think I'm doing okay. I don't know.
Aim for the bullseye.
They're heading your way.
Ah, darn it.
Holy combination! It's your last game. Time to tap your scores. Oh, way to play, everyone. Them and their scores.
200. 200. Now I'm almost positive that's better than my usual score. Almost positive. Look at that. Best in vehicle. I have no idea who's in my vehicle. Hey, that's the whole thing. That's all 8 contestants. 7. I don't have a cohort. I always have to pause here whenever I finish the game, just sort of taking the scene. A little did you know. I actually told my wife about this and she didn't know. But the entire scene that just played out in the attraction in Toy Story Midway Mania is actually just some kid playing with the game. That's the ride vehicle-ish. The ride vehicle would be in that box, and he's pretending to take it through the box and through all the scenes, etc. So what we're in is a kid's imagination, or maybe not imagination, maybe it's real, I don't know. Everything that we just experienced happened inside that box. And then we get to exit into one of the single best exits through the gift shop that Disney has ever created, in my opinion. I absolutely love this gift shop. I would spend all my money in here if I didn't have such amazing self-control. Because I do love Toy Story. And I love all these toys down there. You know, but I'm just so thrifty that I'm able to control myself. Although I will say, I do have one of these. Ostensibly for Sophia, but you know. And I do love these shirts. And I love the bucket of characters down here. We used to have a Slinky Dog for a minute also. Yeah, we had this one right here. This one lights up. We also got that one for Sophia. And while we're in the midst of a Toy Story Love Fest, a piece of Disney design architecture that I feel like is slept on, that people don't give enough credit for, is the exterior of this gift shop as well, and how it plays with the loop there for Incredicoaster, the marquee out here for the Midway Mania. This whole attraction is A+ thematically, A+ for, you know, Imagineering and design. I absolutely love it. But it often gets dismissed because it gets lumped in as being part of Pixar Pier, and people, you know, they kind of want to diss Pixar Pier because it's meh, you know, or even when it was Paradise Pier, they just didn't like the pier because it wasn't very walled, but it's still beautifully done. 30 minutes now, they've adjusted it down to 30 minutes. They have fixed that, so we were right. It was definitely under 45. We actually just watched it play out to 24 minutes, but that 30 minutes has drawn, it's drawn a crowd. Sure enough, although that queue actually, when we got here, that queue was just over there. It's still less. That's still, these guys are still going to be just about 25 minutes from right there. If we were just take that chunk of gas and put it over there, because they moved the change, they closed it off after they cleared all that space, and now the queue is building out in this direction instead of in that direction. But it's all because Lightning Lane didn't happen. To recap what I was saying on the attraction, instead of spending 15 to 20 minutes, we spent 8 in that interior queue, and so that's what, 8, 15, 7. That's 7 to 12 minutes off the estimate. We estimated 38. That puts us at 26 right there. So that's the whole thing. That's it. It's just the interior queue, and the lack of Lightning Lane while we're in there equals the savings of about 10 minutes. As for the rest of Pixar Pier, this still again feels very quiet. Very, very quiet. And Incredicoaster is still down also. I was hoping that would be back up by the time we got done with that, but no such luck. I hear some screaming finally from the Pixar pal around. Where we're going to find a posted 20-minute wait time for the swing gondolas. My goodness, you guys. I may have to just call it. I may have to call it. There is no relationship. I mean, or at least it's not as big a deal as I thought it might be. I mean, there is an effect. Obviously, people are going to look for discounts, but it could just be on the most extreme cases where we find that. Because this is just not. This is not enough. This is not a lot of people. I mean, we should all this. And then it was 10 minutes for Nas swinging. And the back of the queue, I think, is over there at that corner. Hi, guys. Well, I guess we'll find out where these fans of the show, how far along they get. They're going to make that left turn. Where do they stop? I don't know. Of course, they're probably going to disappear. And they're gone. Nope. They stopped just short of making that right turn. Queue's actually starting to grow a little bit. I mean, that 10 minutes is definitely a call to action. One thing I know is going to happen is that I'm going to become intimately aware of all the nuances of the waiting in the queue for the Pixar Pal Around, because I will be here on this thing at least once a week, every week, for probably the next 5 years. No, actually, maybe, no, for the next 20 years. Oh my God, I'm just now processing that in my head, because it's the best view of Avengers Campus for the e-ticket. It's the best view of whatever they're going to do with the Coco ride, no matter where they put it, which we're going to get back into that in a minute. And it's going to be the best view, perhaps the only view they're going to get of the Disneyland Forward project when it happens on the other side of Disneyland Drive. I always forget the name of that street. Disneyland Drive over there in the Simba parking lot. And all that's going to happen sequentially. We're going to start with Avengers Campus here with the e-ticket. I'll be up there every week trying to catch video of that. And while that's happening, maybe a year or two later, I'll be able to see Coco, and then a year or two after that, Disneyland Forward. I'll be here for the rest of my life on Pixar Pal Around. Hager looks angry.
Let's get in there. Let's get a picture.
Hager's a great add to the meet and greets here. Now, I mentioned earlier, we know that they're building a Coco Dark ride, and I was like, you know, where do you put Moana? I feel like, okay, I'm assuming they're going to build, well, they got to, right? You got to build a Moana land. Maybe that's why they're thinking, oh God, no, they would have, I don't know, man. I feel like, okay, so I think the only place it can go is back there in the Simba lot. I was thinking Avatar there. Maybe they don't put Avatar, maybe they do put Avatar in the back lot. The thought is Coco, where we just saw Anger. Behind that, the Pixar Promenade, is the site where our first prediction for the Coco ride was going to be. I'm still hanging on to that, because that's what I was advised. Well, anyway, I've heard. Sources say. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't feel like it could go anywhere else. There have been people talk about doing the Goofy Sky School area in Paradise Garden. I don't agree with that, or Little Mermaid even. I don't agree with that, because the whole point of Disneyland Forward, well, not Disneyland Forward, but the whole point of adding any attraction, Disney's goal isn't to just replace attractions, it is to add capacity. So what have you really accomplished if you put Avatar in the back lot, or if you put Coco over here where Goofy Sky School was, or if you put it at Little Mermaid? You haven't added any capacity, you've just replaced it. And Disney, the goal is to add capacity. That's been their mantra from the very beginning. The thing that they've been trying to do is to add more park. Not different park, not different, more. That in terms of competing, let's say with Epic, you know, they're like, oh, well, we're going to add this, that, and the other in order to compete with Epic. Okay, well, you can't, it doesn't count if you're taking away attractions in the process. So I feel like, I still feel like the Pixar Promenade makes the most sense for Coco, and I still feel like the Simba lot still makes the most sense for Avatar. And we forgot to discuss Emotional Whirlwind. It is 1:08, you guys. 1:08, and there is barely anybody here. Oh my gosh, is this attraction even open? Hang on. Oh, it is. It's not close. Okay, I was going to freak out for a second there. I'm like, where's everybody? There's a chain. So no eval to do here at Emotional Whirlwind. But I was going to get in there. If that chain wasn't there, I was going to get in there and see exactly how many minutes it takes to get through there, but we can't test it. That is what we're finding at Silly Symphony. Another empty queue. There's 8 people in that queue right now. 8. What in the Sam heck is going on here? There's 8 people in the Silly Symphony queue.
Oh, I see it.
8. You want some more evidence of the not busies? Bayside Brews. 1:10 in the afternoon. 1:10. Time for a beer, is it not? There are 2 people. That's a couple. There are 2 people in the queue for Bayside Brews. They are prepared for a lot more guests than that. Oh my God, what do you think Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta is going to be like? Inexplicably, they added Boardwalk to mobile order a while back. Perhaps the single most unnecessary thing that they've ever done. I don't even know where you pick it up. But there's just a couple guests. That smells good. Oh, I do miss the basil pesto ravioli. Today it's spaghetti and meatballs, and they've got a creamy marinara primavera, which I'll be honest does not look very appetizing. I mean, spaghetti and meatballs is really the only thing that looks appetizing to me. But there's nobody waiting for pizza. They're just standing by. There's your mobile order pickup spot right there. Hilarious. And nobody getting a salad, which their salad here is really good. That's the Italian chef salad. Okay. Yeah, the Italian chef salad is fantastic. One of my favorites. But look, it's just dead. It's dead in here. Paradise Garden Grill does quadruple the business that this place does. We'll go by there next to see if they are feeling the same effects. We should see a good sized standby queue happening there. We should at 1 o'clock. And we've already negated the festival holidays type scenario where we saw, quite a few. Oh my gosh. We saw a good sized queue at Pim's. We saw a good sized queue at Flo's. But now there's nothing here. You could walk up and place your order for Paradise Garden Grill. Walk up and get your chili verde chicken flautas, or your huarache, or your al pastor tacos, which I had last week. They were okay. Or the chilaquiles carnitas torta, which I also had a couple weeks ago. That was amazing, actually. Was what I was feeling this morning not the mirage that I thought it was. I thought, okay, hold your horses. I know it feels quiet and not really happening because it's still early. It's still just 10 a.m. But was that not a mirage? Looks like the Encanto show is happening. Got some performers here. Can I slide to the left? I think I can. Can I go this way? Let's go this way.
Beautiful decoration, special gifts.
Yeah, man. What's your gift?
Who's asking? Well,
all right. Goofy Sky School has relaunched, and they are posted at 25 minutes presently. I want to say that's maybe 5 minutes, 10, 15. That's probably 10 minutes, that stretch. And then another 10 here at least. So you're looking at 25 at least, but it's probably closer to 30 or 35. I need to be getting into these queues more often. I don't have enough reps on Goofy Sky School to know precisely like I do. I have a good feeling about Midway Mania, because I've been through that one so many more times, but I don't ride Goofy Sky School very often. Normally because I don't really find many bargains here. We will be doing this tomorrow though, now that I mentioned it. Tomorrow God, I hope I do it. Tomorrow I'm doing a speed run, a Lightning Lane speed run to see how quickly I can get through the entire park using Lightning Lane. And my goal, my plan is to get everything done before noon. I'm pretty sure I have a pretty good strategy. It's a little aggressive, but a pretty good strategy to get everything done by noon, so be on the lookout for that. But if I had to call this one, I would say it's more than 25 minutes. More. Especially if you show up after this show is done. Golden Zephyr. It's a straight walk on right there. Those guests walking in right now are going to get on the next set of Silver Zephyrs. And then after having been through all this, all the discussion that we've been leading up to this point, we arrive at Little Mermaid to find this. A completely jammed up Little Mermaid queue. Hi guys. That is a lot of guests. Hi guys. For a Little Mermaid, that is a lot of guests. What's up? Thank goodness. And they can process guests. They can jam a whole mess of guests through here. This is one of the most efficient attractions ever. What's weird is that I ran into that same thing on Friday. I was here doing construction on Friday, and it was bazonkers. Have you guys watched the construction report? It's still a thing. Just because they finish Haunted Mansion and Tiana's and the train doesn't mean we don't have construction reports. It's still a thing. You should check that out. It was bonkers in the Little Mermaid queue. On Friday, it was really busy. I don't understand. It's dead everywhere. It's dead everywhere, but we got probably a 20-25 minute wait here at the Little Mermaid. Incredible. I mean, it's full. No waiting for Bruise and Bites. Just come on in.
You want that churro one?
And we're back at it again with nothing happening. We've only got 2 attractions to go, and I already know Grizzly River Run is going to be nothing. And it looks like they've got Little Mermaid at 25 minutes, just as I predicted, so obviously we're going to call that a wash. That's a scratch, no win, no loss. Well done. How did I do Toy Story Midway Mania in less time than what's posted for Little Mermaid? That's probably not going to be a 25-minute queue. It'll probably be a little bit under, but that's certainly significantly longer than we're accustomed to seeing that queue. I don't know what's going on with Little Mermaid, why that's suddenly the most popular attraction here at DCA, but it's happening. It's happening right now for a good couple weeks now. We'll wind things down here a little bit. At Redwood Creek, hi, little raccoon guy. Oh, that was cute. Well done. You want to meet Santa? Go in this direction. Oh dear. I really hate when they do this. I do not enjoy when Disney does stuff like this. Completely ruining the vibe and the mood in what should be a beautifully serene place. No thank you. No thank you. This sucks. This sucks, Disney. Stop doing that. It's not like you don't have enough places to sell that merch and where you're suddenly going to change somebody's mind. And they're going to say, oh my gosh, I just remembered I need to buy. It just gets in the way. It interrupts the vibe. It interrupts the story. It interrupts the mood. It's not as bad as when they try to put those merch carts in the Main Street Cinema. That was horrendous. But that's, you guys remember that? Remember the Main Street Cinema? For like a week, they put those merch, they were selling merch inside there. Oh my God. No, stop that, Disney. I hope you're watching. I hope you take something from these shows, because I feel like I speak for a decent percentage of your local guests who spend a lot of money in this park. That ain't it. This is it. Happy families playing, running about, enjoying what you created without having to begin hit over the head with merchandise. You're gonna get our money, okay? You're gonna get it. You don't have to be so aggressive. Let us vibe for a little bit. They're doing duck races. Love Redwood Creek. Absolutely love Redwood Creek. We went to the woods. Took a couple days off last week for Thanksgiving. Didn't work at all. Barely anything. I barely even thought about it. We went to Santa's Village up in Lake Arrowhead. I walked through a forest. A real forest. So good. It crystallized, it confirmed in my mind that that's where I want to be. That's where I want to, you know, when I retire, that's where I want to be, is in a forest somewhere. When I shuffle off this mortal coil, I want to be in a big redwood forest or something like that. Which is why I love Redwood Creek. I love nature. Oh, there's our raccoon friend again. Oh, can I get one? Oh, I'll let the little guys get it. He's very happy. I love it. More, less. Is she open? I have not seen a single guest go through on a raft. Now the app says it's open, but it's not. There's no posted wait time, and we got a rope, and we got a crew of cast playing defense. So Grizzly River Run is closed. I mean, it wasn't what it looked like this anyway for the most part, am I right? I don't want to leave yet. Go to Condor Flats. I'm gonna test you guys. There we go. Hi. That's a little more like it. Still not as crowded as I would have thought it would be, but this is a little bit more dense. But we're gonna do a little go, no go test for you guys. Hey guys. Do a little go, no go test here at Soarin. This is standby. Looks like 2 switchbacks, 2.5 maybe. It's not even a test. Posted wait time says 20 minutes. There's Lightning Lane. So maybe, I don't know. There's Lightning Lane. I mean, they're showing up a little bit. Actually, a lot of times when we come through here, we don't see very much Lightning Lane here at all. But this is a good sized showing for a 20-minute standby. But is that a go or no go? Irrespective of the 20-minute posted wait time, we're supposed to be analyzing things aside from that. That's a different conversation about whether or not it is 20 minutes, but is that a go or no go for you? I mean, clearly it's a go, right? Answer below, but I feel like that's a pretty obvious go situation right there. The other question is whether or not that's actually 20 minutes, which we really can't tell. This is a very difficult queue to get an actual number on because we can't see what's happening inside there. We don't know how many, if they're running both theaters, which I suspect though, if they're at 20 minutes, they are running both theaters, both screens. But oh my God, it's getting shorter. You guys, it's getting shorter. Are they gonna clear this queue right now? It was 2.5 switchbacks when we arrived. And there's maybe a half a switchback now. It's 1:39. I'm going to give this till 1:45. I'm going to wait out here for 6 minutes, and I'm going to see if they can't process all these guests within 6 minutes. Well, the opposite happened. That 20 minutes was an absolute call to action, which, by the way, it still says 20 minutes over there, but the queue has quintupled since we've been here. When I first put the camera down, it was like right here. The last guests were starting to get in there, but they filled up that queue, switched back, and it's starting to poke around and out into the common area. They need to do some queue maintenance here, you guys. Some queue maintenance is in order because they chained things off. They chained off those two, the rear switchbacks back there. So we need to see if anybody observes this call to action on the cast members' part. They need to fix this because this is not good, right? This right here. You better not see this. Still a go in my book. Yeah, I mean, it's not 20 minutes anymore, or if it was before, it isn't whatever it was, I'll say that. I don't think it was even 20 minutes before. I think it was probably less than that, simply because the queue was just right there at the threshold. But it is 20 minutes now, possibly more. I hear some chain wrangling. Oh, that's just a guest. Or maybe they don't. 3 or 4 minutes later, and Soarin is just throwing guests through that queue. They've cleared that again, and now we're back to just the one switchback. Still longer than it was, maybe a switchback and a half. But yeah, things are good. It's good. It's slow. It's dead. California Soarin, or Soarin over around the world, is dead.
Better rides.
Funny story. I sat down next door at Smoke Jumpers to write my intro, which we're about ready to shoot here in a second, and then this happened. They've left the standby wait time at 20 minutes. And like what happened before, the people started to show up. They did adjust the chains back there. They've doubled the size of the switchbacks back there from 2 to 4. And we still have this coming out here into the walkway again. So we have to grow it even further. Oh, hi guys, how are you? The queue is still growing. They're gonna have to adjust that wait time here. They need to, they did the one thing, now they gotta do the other, because that 20 minutes is just creating a lot of demand here at Soarin. Pretty soon, this is gonna get out into the walkway, and that's all being done. That's all being created by the post the 20-minute wait time monorail. If they want to mitigate this, they got to do, they got to adjust that. I don't know if they do or not, but that's what's happening. 20 minutes is a bargain for Soarin, even on a slow day. And they did just that. About a minute later, they've jumped it up to 30, which should abate things a little bit. But I heard a couple of guests say, "Whoa, that's not 20 minutes." We've been deceived. Hi, how are you? That's a real thing. That's a real thing. You show up with an expectation. You see that 20? You got to get here quick. Although it stayed like that for quite a while. It stayed light much longer than I would normally have expected a queue to stay at 20 minutes looking. Of course, the reason for that is it ain't busy. It's just not that busy, man. Anyway, we have approached our end of our day. Let's take a trip around Carthay Circle. I really do love it. I really do love it out here, man. This scene that it's really, really growing on me. The whole Buena Vista Street, Carthay, even Hollywood Boulevard. It's really growing on me. Very interesting finale to our day. I guess if we're on a journey to determine how this day lines up with expectations, it failed. It's not happening here at DCA. Now that could be, as I mentioned earlier, it could be because it's Christmas and people want to go to Disneyland. But yeah, Disney is fun at Christmas. Please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/FreshBaked. Follow us on Twitter on Instagram at _FreshBaked. On Twitter at FreshBaked Disney, that's fresh with no E. Don't forget to join our newsletter. There's a link in the description for that. Oh yeah, if you're planning a trip to the Disneyland Resort or to any Disney property, please do consider using our travel affiliate, GetAwayToday. There's a link in the description for that as well. They are amazing folks. We love GetAwayToday, and they're big fans of the show and are very supportive of us. If you want to support us and Getaway, a family-owned company, by the way, small family-owned company. Make your travel agents using the link in the description with Getaway Today. Thanks, guys. Hope to see you guys soon. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. FreshBaked.